we get started, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any suggestions for us to make the channel better, please let us know. Now let's start with the story. My name's Nathan, 32, average looking, definitely not the guy you expect to be the main character in some relationship apocalypse, but here I am. I swear I never thought I'd be one of those guys writing an internet rant about my cheating fiancé, but holy hell, my life turned into a full-on revenge movie in the past few months. Okay, let's rewind a bit before I jump into the absolute cluster. You know what? That was my wedding day. Or, well, almost wedding day. First, the backstory. Vanessa and I had been together for 3 years. We met at my buddy Mike's house party. One of those, bro, you have to come. It's going to be epic deals, which usually ends up with me awkwardly standing in the corner clutching a warm beer and checking my phone for sports updates. But this time, it was different. Vanessa walked in, and I swear the music stopped for me. She was this absolute smoke show, a pharmaceutical rep, if you can believe it. Yeah, I know how that sounds. I'm just being honest here. A solid 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 if you ask anyone, but me because I had to see her dirty laundry later. Long dark hair, absolutely killer body, CrossFit, of course, because that's apparently a personality now, and this smile that made other dudes walk into walls. Seriously, one guy tripped over a dog bowl when she laughed. Me? I'm like a solid 6 on a good day. Maybe a 7 if the barber doesn't screw up my fade and the lighting is forgiving. So there I am, posted up in the kitchen trying to fish a watery Coors Light out of the sink, when I hear Vanessa arguing with Mike about TV. Specifically, Breaking Bad. Walter White was the hero, changed my mind. She was telling him, eyes wide, like she was ready to fight a literal meth empire on his behalf. Mike looked like he was about to faint. Are you insane? Jocelyn was the heart of the show. Vanessa practically snorted. Jocelyn was a whiny toddler with a chemistry set. Walter carried the entire series. I just jumped in because, you know, nothing says flirting like picking sides in a morally gray drug drama. Yo, I said, trying to sound casual while still holding a beer like a security blanket. Walter White literally poisoned a kid. A kid? She swung her head around so fast I thought she'd snap her neck. Yeah, but the kid lived. I had to laugh. That's your defense? The kid lived? Vanessa smirked, leaned closer. He had to protect his empire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should have been my first red flag. But I was an idiot. So, we ended up talking for 3 hours straight about narcotics, sports, pineapple on pizza, which, by the way, does not belong there, fight me, and even random conspiracy theories. By the time I checked my phone, half the party was gone and Mike was passed out on his own couch. At the end of the night, I asked for her number. She gave me that look, like, finally, dude, and punched it into my phone herself. We went out the next weekend, and that was pretty much it. You know how sometimes you just click with someone? Like it feels easy and right, and you can practically hear a Disney soundtrack in the background? That was us. Or at least, that's what I thought. Fast forward 3 years. I was convinced this was my ride or die situation. We moved in together after a year, got ourselves a tiny overpriced apartment downtown with plumbing that sounded like a dying walrus every time someone flushed, and adopted this furry little demon cat named Zeke. Zeke hated everyone, except her. That should have been another clue. We started building what I thought was going to be our life together. You know, grown-up crap, groceries, Netflix fights, arguing over whose turn it was to do the litter box. Picture-perfect domestic bliss, right? Until everything went to hell. I was all in, man. No half measures here. I did every little thing you're supposed to do to keep your girl happy. Random flowers? Boom. Surprise coffee deliveries to her work? You bet. Cute notes stuck to the mirror, like, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and occasionally something spicy if I was feeling bold. Every special occasion, I went full Disney Prince mode. Birthdays, anniversaries, those dumb little month-anniversaries you do at the beginning because you're an idiot in love. I made sure she felt like Beyoncé, straight up. And Vanessa? She liked expensive stuff. I might have grumbled about it sometimes, but hell, I still made it happen. That's what you do when you're in love, right? Or so I thought. I really believed I was building something real, memories, a future, the whole grow old together package. So when I proposed last year, I did it big. Fancy rooftop restaurant, 3 months of salary on the ring. Yeah, 3 freaking months, because Vanessa had expensive taste, and I wanted her to have her dream. She cried when I asked, said yes, hugged me like she was never letting go, then posted 50 photos on Instagram. 50. In one night. The captions were all, I found my soulmate. Can't wait to spend forever with my best friend. That kind of syrupy nonsense. Well, that aged like milk in a hot car. The wedding planning? Oh my God, it was intense. Vanessa was basically the general of the wedding army. She wanted perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean, borderline royal wedding perfect, 200 plus guests, a fancy venue at this historic hotel downtown, a 5-course dinner, a top-shelf open bar that cost more than my entire car. Her parents helped with a lot of the cost. Thank whatever deity is listening for that, but it still slammed our savings pretty hard. Did I care? Nope. I was just happy she was happy. I mean, personally, I would have been fine getting hitched at the courthouse and grilling hot dogs in the backyard after. But this was her dream wedding, and I wanted to give her that. Plus, seeing her so excited about flower arrangements, cake tastings, and, I kid you not, something called a charger plate, it was kind of cute. She'd come home from work all hyped, pulling up Pinterest boards. Nathan, look at these flowers. You think ivory or blush? Blush. She'd grin like I'd just solved world hunger. I knew you'd get it. Every night it was something new, napkin folds, guest list drama, a band versus a DJ debate, the works. I just let her have at it. Everything was going smooth. Too smooth, really. If I had half a brain, I'd have known that's when life usually knees you in the balls. And the weirdest thing is, even now, I can't really tell you when things started feeling off. It was just vibes, you know? Like when you leave the house and suddenly wonder if you left the stove on, except times 100. I started picking up on little things about a month before the wedding. Nothing big at first. Vanessa was going out with her girls more, staying out later, getting weirdly private with her phone, flipping it over every time it buzzed. Classic suspicious crap, right? Straight out of every cheating story. But when you're in it, when you're literally planning a wedding with someone, picking out rings and worrying about seating charts, you ignore that stuff. You make excuses. She's just stressed about the wedding, I told myself. She needs to blow off some steam, I told myself. I'm being paranoid, I told myself. Man, what an idiot I was. So it's, like, 10 days before the wedding, and Vanessa tells me she's going to this girl's night at Warehouse 13. If you're not local, Warehouse 13 is basically this massive converted warehouse where they throw these all-night raves. The kind of place where you walk in at 11 p.m. and somehow it's 6 a.m. and you're missing a shoe, half your dignity, and maybe a kidney if you're not careful. At first, I didn't think much of it. Vanessa had been stressed, or so I thought, and her friends wanted to throw her a sort of pre-bachelorette send-off since her actual bachelorette was going to be super tame, wine tasting with her mom and her aunts. You know, the classy stuff. Plus, her best friend Megan was organizing it, and Megan was usually responsible. Usually. So Vanessa gets all dressed up for this rave. And when I say dressed up, I mean like she was about to headline Coachella, tiny sparkly crop top, those high-waisted shorts that basically showed the whole zip code of her, but glitter everywhere. She looked like a human disco ball. I remember joking with her. Damn, you trying to find husband number 2 already? She kind of stiffened up at that, but laughed it off. Should have been a red flag, but nope, I was still in that trusting fiancé mindset. Like a dumb. Anyway, she heads out around 9 p.m. with Megan and a couple other girls. Around midnight, she texts me. Everything's great. Having fun. Miss you. Love you. You know, the usual Hallmark crap. Then, radio silence. Nothing. Until 6:30 a.m. She comes stumbling in, and I mean stumbling, looking like she'd survived a small war. Hair a mess, glitter smeared, one eyelash halfway to Mars. She mumbles something about losing track of time and her phone dying. Classic rave excuses. I remember thinking, yeah, glitter gets messed up at raves, no big deal, right? Wrong. So wrong. Fast forward to a week before the wedding. I'm at work, trying to crank through a project deadline, even though my brain is basically melted from wedding planning. My phone buzzes. It's Caleb. Now, Caleb is not the type to call during work hours unless the world is on fire, so immediately I knew, this is going to be bad. He starts with, yo. And I could hear it in his voice, man. That tone that tells you you're about to get hit by a freight train. Listen, man, I didn't know how to tell you this, he says, and my stomach straight up drops. Turns out Caleb's cousin, who, no lie, everyone calls DJ, was at Warehouse 13 that night. Now DJ is one of those guys who basically lives in the rave scene, knows everybody, sees everything, never misses a beat. Apparently, he saw plenty. According to DJ, Vanessa wasn't just dancing with the girls. She was hanging all over this dude, some DJ who goes by Voltage, or some stupid like that. Seriously, Voltage? Who calls themselves Voltage? And it wasn't just like normal dancing. They were getting really close, flirting, and acting all over each other, the whole works. But it gets even more unbelievable, or worse, depending on how you see it. DJ, who's Caleb's cousin, said he saw them slip into the DJ booth area around 3 a.m. Let me repeat that. The DJ booth. They come stumbling out like 45 minutes later, Vanessa fixing her shorts, and this Voltage clown looking all smug like he'd just won the Super Bowl. Real subtle, right? I'm sitting there at my office desk, trying not to throw up or put my fist through the drywall, or, honestly, both. Caleb is still talking, trying to explain, but all I can hear is this high-pitched ringing in my ears, like my brain was short-circuiting. You know that moment when your whole world just shifts? Like everything you thought was solid just crumbles like soggy cardboard? Yeah, that. But hold up, there's more. Because Caleb, absolute MVP friend material, had already done some digging. Turns out, this wasn't even the first time Vanessa had been at one of Voltage's shows. He found pictures on Instagram going back months. Vanessa front and center, living her best groupie life. In some of them, she was wearing this glow-in-the-dark necklace I'd never seen before. Apparently, it was some kind of VIP pass that let you into the DJ area. Great. Freaking. I spent the rest of that day in a total fog, doom-scrolling Instagram and Facebook like some conspiracy theory detective. And what did I find? Oh, plenty. Videos, pictures, Vanessa in the background of other people's stories, getting all cozy with Voltage. This guy was exactly what you'd expect. Tall, covered in tattoos, and with a man bun so greasy, it looked like it could oil a bicycle chain. The kind of dude who thinks pressing play on a MacBook makes him a musical genius. The worst part? In every single picture, every video, she's wearing her engagement ring. The one I spent 3 months of salary on. The one she cried over and said was perfect and everything she ever dreamed of. I didn't confront her right away. Nope. Something in me just snapped. Instead of blowing up or calling her out, I started forming a plan. If she wanted to play games? Cool. I could play games, too, and I was about to go pro. So I went into full detective mode. And let me tell you, when you actually look for red flags instead of ignoring them, that hits you like a freight truck. First stop was our shared credit card statements. Yeah, we had a joint account for wedding expenses, another top-tier life decision on my part. I found a bunch of charges from clubs and bars on nights. She told me she was wedding planning with her friends. Unless David's bridal had a second location inside a nightclub, something was definitely off. But here's where Jocelyn comes in. Quick background. Jocelyn was one of Vanessa's bridesmaids. They weren't super close. Vanessa only asked her because they worked together, and it would have been awkward not to include her. Jocelyn was this absolute smoke show redhead. Not going to lie, I'd always thought she was crazy attractive. But I was faithful, unlike some people, so I never did anything about it. So I decided to reach out to Jocelyn. She always seemed, I don't know, less caught up in Vanessa's constant bullshit than the other bridesmaids. Plus, she'd been acting weird lately, like she knew something but couldn't say it, side-eyeing Vanessa every time she talked about wedding crap. I shot her a text. Hey, got a minute to talk? It's about Vanessa. 2 seconds later, she hits me back. Finally figured it out, huh? My heart just fell into my socks. Turns out Jocelyn had known something was up for weeks. Vanessa had been bragging to her, straight up bragging, about this hot DJ she'd been talking to, showing off their DMs like they were freaking fan mail. But wait, it gets even dumber. Vanessa told Jocelyn that we had an understanding, that I was cool with her having fun before the wedding. Excuse me, what? Apparently, my lovely fiancé had been telling people we had an open relationship. News to me. According to Jocelyn, Vanessa had been feeding this steaming pile of BS to half the friend group, just to justify hooking up with Voltage. Even showed Jocelyn some texts where she was planning to meet up with him after the honeymoon. The audacity. Jocelyn was furious, too. She grabbed screenshots, so many screenshots. Texts between Vanessa and Voltage going back months, apparently starting when they met at another rave back in March. Fun fact. In March, Vanessa told me she was at a pharmaceutical conference in Vegas. Yeah, sure. Conference. They'd been hooking up on and off since then, but things really heated up as the wedding got closer. Some highlight cringe from their messages. Vanessa, can't wait to see you tonight. Save me a spot in the booth. Voltage, got something special for you, baby. Vanessa, better than last time. Voltage, you know it. Bring that sparkly outfit. And my personal favorite, kind of excited to be a bad girl before I have to be a good wife, lol. I wanted to puke. 3 years of my life, a $15,000 ring, all the plans we'd made. And to her, it was just some boring obligation she had to check off after getting her festival hoe phase out of her system. Jocelyn was pissed on my behalf. Vanessa had apparently been clowning on me to her friends, too, calling me safe and reliable, like I was a freaking Honda Civic. Yeah, well, I'd rather be a Civic than some crusty rave bro named after a light switch. Jocelyn was done with Vanessa's two-faced crap, and I was done being the reliable backup plan. So we met up at this coffee shop, spent like 3 hours going through every screenshot, every video, basically building our case like the world's pettiest FBI agents. Jocelyn actually came up with a masterstroke. She sipped her latte, leaned across the table with this evil little glint in her eye, and went. If she wants an audience for her drama, let's give her one she'll never forget. So we decided to get everything ready, screenshots, photos, even videos random people had sent us from the rave. Jocelyn had this friend, Kevin, who worked AV at the venue, so setting up a nice little humiliating slideshow wouldn't be a problem at all. But the best part of this planning session? Watching Jocelyn get all fired up about exposing Vanessa. I swear, it was like she'd been waiting for this moment her entire life. She was going off, ranting about what a trash human Vanessa was, her face flushed, eyes sparkling, hands flailing around with pure rage. And man, there was a moment, I felt it, like something just clicked between us. That spark, that chemistry, you know? But we didn't act on it. I mean, come on, I'm not that much of a creep. The next few days were rough. Acting normal around Vanessa while knowing what I knew, it felt like starring in some twisted Shakespeare play. She'd be talking about our future, showing me seating charts, getting hyped about honeymoon plans, and meanwhile I'm sitting there plotting her social destruction like a Bond villain. The hardest part? She actually seemed excited about the wedding. Like, genuinely happy. And every now and then, I'd catch myself, almost feeling bad for what we were about to do. Then I'd remember those texts, sparkly outfit, bad girl, DJ Voltage's crusty man-bun face, and poof, any sympathy evaporated in half a second. Plus, anytime I started second-guessing the plan, Jocelyn would come in clutch with another screenshot or another story about Vanessa talking crap behind my back. Nothing kills pity quite like discovering your fiancé called you boring in bed to her coworkers. Boring in bed. That one still stung, not gonna lie. 3 days before the wedding, I was practically crawling out of my skin. Vanessa was running around like a bridezilla on steroids, calling vendors, obsessing over chair covers, double-checking flowers, you name it. Meanwhile, I was sneaking off to secret meetings with Jocelyn and Kevin, putting together what we'd officially dubbed Operation Festival Fallout. Quick shout out to Kevin, by the way, absolute hero. When Jocelyn told him what was going on, he didn't just agree to help, the dude went all in. Turns out he'd been cheated on before too, so he was basically thriving off this revenge mission. Since he worked at the venue, he knew exactly how to set everything up without raising any red flags. The plan was simple. During the reception, I'd get up and do a special toast to my lovely new bride. And then, Kevin would have everything queued up on those massive venue screens, screenshots, photos, videos, the whole festival horror show. But timing was everything. We needed to let the photographer get all the important shots done. I wasn't about to waste my parents' money on a half-finished wedding album, and definitely wait until after her dad's speech. That poor guy had spent a fortune on this circus. Now here's where it got interesting with Jocelyn. We were spending a lot of time together, plotting, scheming, laughing, trauma bonding like crazy. And the chemistry? It was starting to get intense. One night, we were at my place, scrolling through evidence on my laptop, and Jocelyn was sitting really close, like really close. I could smell her perfume, this classy floral scent that blew Vanessa's cheap cotton candy body spray out of the water. She looked up at me and said, "You know what would really drive her crazy?" Jocelyn leaned in, eyes sparkling with this devious little smirk. "If you kissed me right after exposing her. Like, right there in front of everyone." I actually laughed out loud. I mean, the sheer boldness of that suggestion? Chef's kiss. But I'm not gonna lie, my brain fully short-circuited for a second. Jocelyn was hot as hell, tall, fire-red hair, green eyes, the kind of girl who looks like she just wakes up perfect, while Vanessa needed 2 hours of contouring just to go buy cereal. And the way she was looking at me, like she was dead serious about it? I tried to play it cool. "You sure you want to get involved like that? People might judge you too." She just smirked, tucked her hair behind her ear, and went, "Trust me, I've been wanting to do this for months." Then she added, "The way she talks about you to everyone, like you're just some backup plan, you deserve better." And then she put her hand on my leg. Holy shit. The tension was unreal. But we didn't do anything. Not yet. We both knew we had to wait. Make the revenge that much sweeter. The next couple of days were a total blur. Wedding prep, more secret planning, me basically living a double life. Vanessa, meanwhile, was acting like the happiest bride in the world, running around talking about how perfect everything was going to be, how we were going to be the best couple ever, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, she kept texting that loser DJ. Jocelyn showed me fresh screenshots from their group chat, where Vanessa was bragging about how she planned to sneak off and meet up with him after the honeymoon. The night before the wedding was the rehearsal dinner. Vanessa's dad gave this heartfelt, emotional speech about how happy he was to welcome me into the family, practically tearing up. And I almost felt bad. Then I caught Vanessa sneaking off to the bathroom for the 10th time that night with her phone. I remembered those screenshots, all the boring, safe, Honda Civic crap, and any guilt went poof. After dinner, Jocelyn and I had one last mission briefing with Kevin to make sure Operation Festival Fallout was 110% ready. Screenshots, photos, videos, audio. Yeah, audio. Vanessa had left some pretty incriminating voicemails for Voltage, and Kevin had them teed up. We planned everything down to the literal minute. That's when Jocelyn casually dropped another bomb on me. "I got a room at the hotel for tomorrow night," she said, all nonchalant, like she was talking about grabbing a latte. "You know, in case you need somewhere to go after everything." And the way she said it, looking up through her lashes, practically daring me to say something? Yeah, she wasn't just offering a place to crash, and we both knew it. And you know what? After everything Vanessa had done, I didn't even feel guilty about the thoughts going through my head. I went home that night, walked into our bedroom, and found Vanessa passed out in bed, probably half drunk from the rehearsal dinner, her makeup smudged, still wearing that stupid bride sash. Her phone was sitting on the nightstand, lighting up with notifications. "Voltage, can't wait to see you after the honeymoon, baby." That was the moment any last doubts I had just vanished. Tomorrow wasn't just going to be the end of my relationship with Vanessa. It was going to be the beginning of something new, something better. I slept on the couch that night, partly because I couldn't stand to be next to her, but mostly because I was so amped up thinking about what was about to go down. Jocelyn kept texting me memes about revenge and karma, sending me one after another until I was actually snorting out loud at some of them. We stayed up late fine-tuning the final details, running through the plan like two shady spies. The last text I got from her that night: "Tomorrow's going to be epic. Hope you're ready for your starring role in the best wedding drama ever." Man, she had no idea how right she was. The morning of the wedding was surreal. I woke up on my couch, my back killing me, and for a split second I forgot what day it was. Then my phone went nuclear with notifications. Vanessa, of course, sending me those cute "can't wait to be your wife" texts. My groomsmen checking in. And Jocelyn, updating me on Operation Festival Fallout, like she was mission control. I got to the venue early to check on everything with Kevin. Bro, Kevin outdid himself. 3 massive screens set up for the wedding slideshow, audio perfectly dialed in, everything locked and loaded. While we were doing the final tech check, Jocelyn slipped in, and let me tell you, the girl looked insane in that bridesmaid dress. Like, Vanessa might have had the big white gown, but Jocelyn was about to snatch crowns that day. She gave me this look, a grin that made my heart do a backflip. "You ready for this?" she asked. Then she handed me more screenshots from that morning. Vanessa was still texting Voltage, talking about meeting up after the honeymoon. The audacity of this girl. Then came the ceremony. God, the ceremony was weird. I was standing there in my tux, trying not to look like I was about to go DEFCON 1, watching Vanessa walk down the aisle with that fake innocent look on her face, tears streaming like she was in a Hallmark movie. Her dad? He looked so freaking proud, the poor guy. 50 grand dumped into this dumpster fire of a wedding, no idea what was about to hit. All our friends and family were watching with these big, misty-eyed smiles, thinking they were witnessing some kind of perfect love story. Vanessa's vows were the absolute peak of bullshit. Talking about loyalty, forever love, how she'd never known true love until she met me. Meanwhile, I'm standing there like, "Girl, you were literally trying to schedule a booty call after the honeymoon." Jocelyn was in the front row, trying so hard not to laugh, she was practically biting her lip bloody. We got through the ceremony. Yeah, I actually said I do. Had to make it legal for what was coming next. Took all the photos, too. No way I was going to waste my parents' money on a half-finished album. Then we headed to the reception. This was where the real fun was about to start. Everything looked picture perfect. Vanessa was in full bride mode, showing off her ring, dancing with her dad, living her little fairy tale. Then it was time for speeches. Her dad went first, delivering this heartfelt talk about what a great couple we were, how happy he was to welcome me into the family. Then Vanessa's sister got up, talking about true love, soulmates, all that crap. And then, it was my turn. I got up, grabbed the mic, and caught Jocelyn's eye. She gave me this tiny, savage nod, like, "Do it." "I'd like to make a toast," I said, all calm and collected, while Vanessa beamed at me from our sweetheart table, looking like she'd just won the damn lottery. "You know," I went on, "they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So instead of a long speech, I thought I'd share some pictures that really capture who Vanessa is." Kevin, absolute legend, hit the lights, and the screens came to life. First picture, Vanessa, barely wearing clothes, all over Voltage in the DJ booth. Second picture, screenshots of their text conversations about hooking up. Third picture, a video clip from the rave showing them disappearing into the back room. The entire room went dead silent. Vanessa's face went from confused to absolutely horrified in about 2 seconds flat. Her mom let out a gasp so loud I thought she might faint. "There's more," I continued, because I was all in now. Let's hear what the bride really thinks about her new husband. Kevin queued up the audio, Vanessa's voicemail, slurring about how she was just settling for me because I was humble and boring, but Voltage was the real excitement. Vanessa jumped up, screaming, "Turn it off." But Kevin, again, MVP of the decade, just cranked it up louder. "What's wrong, babe?" I asked into the mic, trying to sound genuinely confused. "I thought you wanted an audience for your festival life. Isn't that what you told Voltage?" Her dad was on his feet now, red as a tomato. Her mom was full-on ugly crying. Most of the guests had their phones out, either filming or covering their mouths in shock. Vanessa tried to save it, running up to me, sobbing about how it wasn't what it looked like, and we could talk about it. That's when I hit her with the final nuke. "Oh, and that stuff about meeting up after the honeymoon," I said, nice and casual. "Yeah, I saw those texts too. But don't worry, I won't be around to bore you anymore." I handed the mic to the DJ, our DJ, not Voltage, LOL, loosened my tie, and turned straight to Jocelyn. She stood up, giving me this sexy little smirk, and I swear I'd never wanted to kiss someone more in my entire life. So I did. Right there in front of everyone, I kissed her. And let me tell you, that kiss was electric. Way better than any kiss I'd ever had with Vanessa. The whole room erupted. Half gasping, half cheering, total chaos. Vanessa was shrieking something, but honestly, with Jocelyn in my arms, I couldn't hear a damn word. We walked out together, hand in hand, leaving Vanessa standing there in her $7,000 dress, mascara running, reputation in flaming ruins. I heard later she tried to claim I'd faked the whole thing, but Kevin, genius that he is, had hooked up the venue's video system to record the entire meltdown. Receipts secured. So there we were, walking out of the reception hall with the sounds of chaos still exploding behind us, and Jocelyn looked at me and went, "Want to really give them something to talk about?" And that hotel room she'd booked? Yeah, we were about to make damn sure it was worth every penny. But first, we had to make it through the lobby, which, let me paint you a picture, looked hilarious. Jocelyn in her bridesmaid dress, me in my tux with the bow tie undone. We were basically sprinting for the elevator while wedding guests were still arriving for the reception. The looks we got? Priceless. And then, the cherry on top, we ran into Voltage. No joke, this clown actually showed up at the hotel, probably thinking he was going to be Vanessa's little side piece after the reception. He took one look at us, recognized me from the slideshow of doom, no doubt, and went pale as a damn ghost. Jocelyn, absolute queen, just winked at him and said, "Sorry, she's a little busy having her wedding ruined right now." Voltage's jaw about hit the floor, but we just strolled past him into the elevator like it was the most normal thing in the world. Got up to the room, and my phone was exploding with notifications. Vanessa, of course, calling and texting nonstop, trying to do damage control. Her friends sending me angry messages. My friends sending me virtual high fives and congratulations. Random wedding guests already posting the video of the meltdown on social media. But honestly, couldn't have cared less. I'm going to keep this somewhat PG-13, but let's just say Jocelyn had been holding back a lot of feelings, and those feelings got thoroughly explored. Around 4 a.m., we finally checked our phones. Holy shit, Vanessa had gone full-on psycho at the reception after we left. She was trying to convince everyone the photos were fake, screaming that I had made it all up, the works. But then some absolute genius, probably Kevin, MVP forever, started piping the audio of her voicemails through the venue speaker system. Vanessa? She tried to climb up on a table to unplug the speakers. In her wedding dress. The thing ripped. Her mom was having a meltdown. Her dad was at the bar pounding shots. Honestly, mood. Apparently half the guests were either filming or posting live updates to the family group chat. And the memes, oh man, the memes were already starting to roll in. But the best part? The twins showed up. Yeah, what Vanessa didn't know was that Jocelyn had invited these two smoking hot yoga instructor twins we knew from the gym to the hotel bar after the reception, part of the plan we hadn't even gotten to yet. So while Vanessa was having her bridezilla meltdown back at the venue, these twins were posting stories from the hotel bar, tagging me, like they were clearly waiting for someone. Jocelyn sees this, gets this absolute evil genius grin, and snaps a picture of the two of us in the hotel room. Nothing explicit, just very clearly together if you catch my drift, and posts it with the caption, "Sorry girls, might be a little late to the after party." Vanessa lost her mind, started blowing up Jocelyn's phone, calling her every name in the book. Jocelyn, queen moves only, just screenshotted everything and kept posting it. The twins started throwing even more gasoline on the fire, posting thirst trap stories like, waiting for the real party to start. The internet was eating this stuff up. By morning, the whole thing had gone viral in our city's social circles. Vanessa's reputation? Absolutely nuked. Voltage's DJ career probably didn't benefit either, seeing as someone, 99% sure it was Kevin, had leaked screenshots showing he'd knowingly been hooking up with an engaged woman. Real class act, voltage. Around noon, we finally emerged from the hotel room. And who do we see chilling in the lobby? The twins. Ava and Allison, fresh as hell in their yoga gear, all smiles and glowy skin. Meanwhile, Vanessa's friends were dragging themselves through the lobby looking like raccoons, mascara smeared, heels in their hands, total walk of shame vibes. Jocelyn, queen of chaos, leans over and goes, "Brunch." So picture this. Me, still in my tux pants with the shirt, but no jacket. Jocelyn in her bridesmaid dress like an absolute goddess of petty revenge. And two hot yoga twins in matching leggings. Sipping mimosas on the hotel patio while wedding guests checked out in varying states of shock. The looks we got? Chef's kiss. Vanessa tried to show up at the hotel, but Kevin, MVP of the entire century, had already warned security. They stopped her in the lobby, still wearing her torn wedding dress, mascara streaked down to her chin, screeching about how she was the bride and needed to talk to me. They escorted her right back out while we watched from the patio, raising our glasses in a perfectly petty toast. I was the one who said, "You know what? Let's just go back to my place. Who the hell needs to be sensible after getting cheated on?" Jocelyn's face lit up at that suggestion, and I knew the revenge tour was only getting started. After brunch, we headed to my apartment. Well, technically still mine and Vanessa's place. But let's be real, she was done there. Jocelyn immediately started making herself at home, kicking off her heels, grabbing a drink from the fridge like she'd lived there for years. The twins were wandering around, exploring in that nosy but cute way hot girls can totally get away with. Me? I was just sitting there, trying to process how the hell my life had turned into a cross between a soap opera and a revenge comedy. Then Jocelyn, absolute menace, goes digging around in the bedroom and finds Vanessa's secret drawer. Holy shit. All that festival gear Vanessa had been wearing to meet up with Voltage? Yeah, there was way more. Multiple sparkly outfits, glitter body chains, a couple of those giant platform boots that were definitely not for work, and a bunch of other things I'm not even going to describe here because I don't want this post getting flagged. The twins thought it was hilarious. I mean, downright comedy gold. They started playing dress up, trying on all of Vanessa's sparkly rave gear, snapping selfies like they'd found a lost treasure chest. Jocelyn, meanwhile, pulls out this super expensive bodysuit Vanessa had bought for our honeymoon and slides into it like it was made for her. She does a little spin and goes, "Honestly, looks better on me anyway." I was about to agree, probably out loud, when we hear keys jingling at the door. Vanessa bursts in like she's about to serve eviction papers on a squatter. Technically, yeah, her name was still on the lease, but come on, read the room. She was probably expecting me alone, miserable, maybe crying into a beer. Instead, she walks into this. Jocelyn rocking her honeymoon lingerie. Ava and Allison, the twins, strutting around in her festival gear, giggling like they were at a bachelorette. And me, kicked back on the couch, living my absolute best life. The noise Vanessa made, honest to God, I didn't know humans could hit that pitch. What the hell is this? Mascara still streaked from crying the day before, hair a full rat's nest, still in yesterday's clothes. She looked like a raccoon who'd lost a fight with a dumpster. Jocelyn, cool as ever, looks her dead in the eye and goes, "Oh, just a little fashion show. Your stuff is super cute though. Not very bride-like, is it?" Vanessa lunges for her, hands out like a rabid possum, but Ava, or maybe it was Allison, I honestly couldn't tell with them swapping clothes every 5 minutes, just steps in between them, calm as a yoga instructor, and goes, "Honey, you might want to fix your makeup before starting more drama. There are already enough videos of you losing it on the internet." Vanessa let out this scream. I swear the walls shook and started frantically throwing random stuff into bags, tears streaming down her face. "I never thought you'd do this to me," she's wailing. The irony was next level. Then she spots the twins rocking her rave outfits and completely loses it. "Those are mine," she shrieks, lunging at them. One of the twins, let's say Ava, for the sake of storytelling, just twirls away gracefully and goes, "Are they though? I mean, they look like club gear to us. Isn't that what you wore to hook up with your DJ boyfriend?" Vanessa freezes, then does this instant 180, victim mode, activated. "Baby, please," she sobs, fake crocodile tears running down. "It was just one mistake. We can work through this. I love you." I was about to laugh in her face, but Jocelyn stepped in first, absolutely nuclear. "One mistake? Should we show him the other videos from last month? Or maybe the ones from Vegas?" Vanessa's face went from fake crying to pure horror in half a second. "You wouldn't," she whispers, looking ready to faint. Jocelyn, cool as a cucumber. "Try me," she says, pulling out her phone. "I kept everything. Every screenshot, every video, every drunk confession about all your little adventures. You want me to show him, babe? Vanessa bolts out of the apartment so fast I swear there was a smoke trail, leaving half her crap behind. The door slammed so hard the twins jumped. We spent the rest of the afternoon picking through Vanessa's leftover junk. Yeah, maybe not legal, but after what she pulled, whatever. And that's when we found the diary. Let's just say, Voltage wasn't the only side piece. Jocelyn officially moved in about a week later. And let me tell you, it was like swapping out a moldy sandwich for a Michelin star meal. The twins? Yeah, they became regular visitors, basically our honorary chaos coordinators. Vanessa? Oh, Vanessa. Last I heard she tried to hook up with Voltage again. But that dude had already moved on to some TikTok influencer who probably also thought DJ meant deep emotional connection. Karma's a bitch, huh? It's been about 6 months since what I now proudly call the wedding that wasn't, and I swear, best non-marriage decision of my entire life. Life's been amazing. We redid the apartment, finally ditching all of Vanessa's basic live laugh love farmhouse crap. The place actually looks decent now. More us. Or, well, more me and Jocelyn. Vanessa? She's been on a total downward spiral ever since the wedding meltdown. She tried to save face, posting this 500-word Insta rant about how I was controlling, and she was breaking free from toxicity, blah blah blah. Nobody bought it. Especially after Kevin, absolute legend, leaked even more videos from the rave. She had to shut off comments because people kept roasting her with DJ jokes like, spinning more lies than Voltage. Which, fair. She tried crawling back to Voltage, but he was already busy chasing TikTok clout with some new chick. Last I heard, Vanessa moved to Miami to find herself, which is code for find more DJs to hook up with. Her dad, though, still sends me Christmas cards. Dude's a real one. Makes me laugh every year. The twins still roll through for what we now call Chaos Sundays, basically a brunch that somehow turns into an all-day pool party at their condo. And Vanessa? She stalks us through fake accounts and absolutely loses it every time we post. Sometimes, for kicks, Jocelyn and I recreate Vanessa's old thirst trap poses just to mess with her. Because, hey, petty can be fun. Work? Yeah, that got awkward for a bit, since Vanessa and I were kinda known in our industry. But Jocelyn handled it like a boss. She even landed a better job at a competing pharma company, making more money, and no longer having to pretend she liked Vanessa's 500 daily Starbucks stories. Speaking of Vanessa's old life, remember those wedding gifts? We kept them. Vanessa's mom tried to demand them back, but they were addressed to both of us, so legally half was mine. We gave most of the fancy china to Jocelyn's mom, who, by the way, hated Vanessa with the fire of 1,000 suns, and used the gift cards to furnish the new, Vanessa-free apartment. Zeke the cat. That little furry jerk turned into a complete angel once Vanessa left. Guess he just hated her energy. Now he even lets the twins pet him. Animals know, man. And that honeymoon in Bali? Oh yeah, still went. Fully paid for by her parents, non-refundable. Vanessa's dad literally insisted we take it, said, someone should enjoy it. The looks the hotel staff gave us when I showed up with Jocelyn instead of Vanessa? Priceless. Absolutely chef's kiss. Best of all, I'm actually happy. Like, genuinely happy. Vanessa used to call me boring and predictable, but turns out I just needed someone who appreciated me. Jocelyn and I still hit up raves sometimes. Yeah, I know, the irony, but we go just to vibe, not to sneak around and hook up with half the DJ booth. But honestly, most nights we're happy staying in, crushing a pizza, playing video games, maybe binge-watching some ridiculous true crime doc. It's easy, you know? Like, actually easy. None of that performative. Look how perfect we are, garbage Vanessa used to pull. Last week, I even got a text from Vanessa, because of course she was drunk, going off about how she made a mistake and misses what we had. Yeah, sure, princess. I just snapped a pic of me, Jocelyn, and the twins at a pool party with the caption, new phone, who this? Maybe that was petty, but after everything she put me through, worth it. So yeah, that's about the end of this absolutely bonkers story. Vanessa? Still alone down in Miami, probably trying to slide into some random DJ's DMs between overpriced bottomless mimosa brunches. Voltage? Doing whatever washed-up wannabe DJs do, pressing play on Spotify, I guess. And me? I'm living my best life with a woman who actually appreciates me, surrounded by friends who'd burn the world down for me, and no negativity anywhere in sight. Vanessa's cousin actually had the nerve to message me last week, trying to guilt-trip me about how I'd changed and wasn't the sweet guy I used to be. I sent her a pic of me with 5 girls in a pool, grinning like an absolute menace, and told her, yeah, you're right. That guy died at the altar. Honestly, good riddance. If Vanessa hadn't cheated, I'd probably still be stuck in a one-sided marriage with someone who didn't put me first. So I guess in some twisted way, I owe her a thanks for showing her true colors before I signed those papers. Anyway, their loss. I'm just out here enjoying life like a damn rock star now. No strings, no drama, no worries. So yeah, it's been a year since the wedding that never was, and honestly, zero regrets. Jocelyn and I are still together, still living it up, still throwing chaos Sundays with the twins. We ended up adopting another cat. Don't judge, Zeke needed a buddy, and I finally put my name alone on the lease. Vanessa? Word is she tried to marry some guy she met on a yacht in Miami. Shocker. It lasted about 3 weeks. Last I heard, she's working bottle service at some club, chasing the next voltage knockoff. Work's going great, too. Got promoted, probably because I'm no longer spending my brain power trying to decode my fiancé's lies. Even my parents admit I'm way more relaxed these days, and they still laugh about the meltdown at the wedding. And me? I'm just enjoying life, man. Playing games, going on trips, trying new things, spending time with people who actually have my back. No drama, no secrets, no bridezillas. Turns out sometimes getting left at the altar, or, I guess, nuking your own wedding, is the best damn decision you could ever make. Life's good. Real good. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.